guys, what's up? It's Danielle. So for today's video, I have a planner update for you guys, and just in case you're new to my channel or you haven't seen any of my videos before, this is actually a Filofax Saffiano in the A5 size, and the color is Aquamarine. I've had this for almost a month now, and I'm absolutely in love. I've always wanted to try Filofax, and I'm certainly glad that I ended up doing that. So let's get into it. So really nothing up here has changed. I've been trying to keep this a little bit more on the minimalist side, just because when I open it up and everything looks nice and neat, it kind of makes it so that I'm not as stressed out. I actually made this dashboard from some wrapping paper. All I did was I folded it in half, laminated it, and punched it, and now here we are. So you can see it's on both sides. I'm not going to go through this because I already talked about it in my last Filofax update. So I'm really going to try to only show you guys what I have in here that is new. So that being said, my sections have changed just a little bit. The first section right here is still dedicated to YouTube. The second section is has actually expanded just a little bit, and it includes projects and my project breakdown aside from my notes and my brain dump. So this right here is called a RAM dump. And for those of you who follow Miss Trenchcoat, she was actually the one who mentioned this in her brain dump video, and I thought it was extremely helpful. It basically just has a bunch of things that you may not think about, that you can add to your brain dump to help you be more productive and to make sure that you're not forgetting anything. I also like to keep post-its here just for things that are upcoming, or notes that I want to have on hand or that I want to stand out to me. And for right now, it's just Chewing Gum. Season 3 comes out April of next year on Netflix, and I absolutely am in love with that show. If you guys haven't seen it, I definitely recommend watching it. But basically, I printed off this entire RAM dump, both sides, on some cardstock so that it would hold up a little bit better. And it has stuff like, are there any professionals or support staff waiting to hear back from you, like lawyers, accountants, consultants? What communications need to be handled, like letters, cards, memos, emails? Do you have any important events coming up? It's literally, I feel like, goes through absolutely everything that you could think of to add to your, brain dump. So if you're interested, all you have to do is Google, I think it's org coach, or you can just look up Kathy Paw, P-A-A-U-W, and you should be able to find it, or you could just Google RAM dump. You can find it that way as well. It's a PDF, and it's also free, so that's nice and helpful. I've really been trying to stick with the brain dump thing, and it's been working out beautifully for me because I've been getting a lot more stuff done than if I were never to have, been doing this. So what I like to do is I like to take my zebra mild liner and I'll cross stuff out, just kind of highlight it once I've completed something. And I created this entire brain dump over the course of about 5 days, and every day I find myself adding more and more to it. So it's definitely a lot of stuff that needs to get done, but at the same time, I am also really, really happy because I feel like I've been getting more done. So I feel like having a brain dump and actively using it has definitely increased my productivity. All right, this is still the same. Basically, the only really new things that I have in here is this, which I actually made myself, and this is called When Did I Last? So basically it says it's just a tracker for when you did something last that you may not remember when you did it. Good example that I always like to give is when you last changed your toothbrush, or in my case a toothbrush head because I have a Sonicare toothbrush. Changing your razor out, washing your bedding. That's something that I do every month regardless, but I just like to add that in here so that next month when I go to you know, wash my bedding, I know if it's been way too early or if it's, you know, been just the right amount of time. I also had to update my upcoming movies list, and, you know, it starts in June, and I believe it goes all the way to May of next year. So these are just all of the movies that are coming out in that span of time that I want to see. They're not necessarily all the ones that are coming out in theaters. I also just have some regular printer paper here in the back just in case I need to take notes or I want to, you know, doodle for whatever reason, or maybe practice my handwriting. And then this section is completely new. And if you watched my last Filofax update video that I did a couple weeks ago, you know that this section was actually dedicated to projects and project breakdowns. So what I basically am using it for now is actually finances. So to start off, I made this pocket out of some white cardstock, and you can kind of see where I taped it. I decided to tape all the edges because I tend to be very rough with things, even though I try to be, you know, really, really careful with them. And I personally know that in my planner, the first thing to go are going to be the edges. So in order to kind of prevent that from happening quickly, I decided to tape all of the edges. And in here, I actually have a piece of mail that requires my attention, and it is, you know, financial. So there's that. I have another one of these yearly horizontal at a glance calendars. This is a free printable from Filofax. I know a lot of people here on YouTube absolutely love these, and so do I. And basically I'm using this to track when I have paydays, credit card payments, as well as when rent is due, and also when I need to start paying back my student loans. So it's very, very simplistic. And then all I'm doing is I'm just highlighting the months after they've passed. All right, the next page is something that I don't necessarily want to share because it does involve money, but I'm going to show you just a little sneak peek right here. So basically with this, it is kind of like a spending calendar, if you will. And I have, you know, a bunch of different categories. For example, red stands for NG, or it's food, but it's NG, so it is non-grocery. So that means it falls under, you know, eating out or having fast food, or, you know, getting something that obviously doesn't count as groceries. For me, what counts as groceries is like what you buy once a week, you know, when you're at the store, that kind of thing. It's not anything that is extraneous. So that's just one of the examples that I have. And basically what I do is every single day after I know I've purchased something, I will write down the amount depending on the day. And I do have this labeled from the 1st of the month to the 31st. And then the blue, I actually forget what it is, but I have the key on the back. So I'm just going to show that to you guys. So right over here, you can see I have my key. So green is for gas and car maintenance. And I've decided to make that green because, you know, green is kind of like, you know, it's a better color in my opinion. It's kind of like, okay, you're allowed to spend money on that. So when I say car maintenance, it basically means the absolute nitty gritty. So that means any repairs that I might have, you know, getting new tires. I'm actually in the process of figuring out which brake pads I want. So that will fall under that category. The hot pink right here stands for hobby stuff. And basically that is anything related to YouTube or related to my planner, you know, stamps, basically any of my hobbies. It also includes like crocheting and that kind of stuff. That is what the hot pink stands for. Again, I already mentioned the red one, which is non-grocery foods, and then purple is actually for groceries and household items. When I say household items, I mean stuff like, you know, cleaning supplies, or, you know, sometimes we might be low on cat food and I have to go pick some up, you know, things like that. Personal care in the blue is pretty self-explanatory. Most of the time, all I really buy is just skincare stuff, so that all falls under that category. If I were to get manicures, which I do not, I really only get pedicures, and those are once a month, that would also fall under personal care, but for the most part, it's, you know, relatively minimal. All right, the bright orange is for gifts. So again, pretty self-explanatory. That does not include the actual gift that I'm giving the person. That includes, you know, the price that I have to pay to ship something to them, if that's the case. Also, it includes the price of their card. You know, basically, if it is going to be a gift, like any component of that, it gets, you know, it gets to be under that category. Medical, I put in brown because I think of it as shitty and I don't want to pay for it. And then the black one is just for payments. So that's for stuff like, you know, rent, student loans, also, you know, credit card, any other kind of expenses that I may have. You know, you could have your mortgage payments under there or your phone bill. Basically anything you want can be under that one. Okay, right here I have 2 money saving challenges, and I got both of these off of Pinterest, but I was a little too lazy to actually try and print them off, so I just wrote them down by hand. I think sometimes that's a little bit easier. So this is the 6 payday money saving challenge. Technically it's a 12-week payday money saving challenge, but I kind of condensed it into 6 paydays. So basically this is per paycheck, but I still have it divided up into how many weeks there are. So I haven't gotten around to start doing this yet, but when I do, I'll start highlighting things. And then this is the one that I'm actually doing right now, and it's 26 paydays to $1,500. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot because it really isn't, but I decided to start small, and I'm trying to teach myself that, hey, you know, you can save money while also spending it, because for the most part, I'm very, very horrible when it comes to saving my money. So I'm really trying to stick with this, and so far it's actually working out pretty well. I have a payday coming up this week, so I'll be able to cross off the second one. So that's always nice. All right, moving on to the next section, which is actually my yearly section. This is all still the same. You guys have seen this before. All I really track on here are periods, and then also, you know, when I started back at my old job. I also have my annual to-do list in here, and this is broken up into months. So for every month, I have a particular thing that I need to do. For example, January, I have to do taxes and go through my closets. I also had a quarterly to-do list that was in here, but I actually am reviewing that, and I'm trying to, you know, take some stuff off, put some other stuff on, that kind of thing. So that's why you don't see it in here. All right, moving on to the monthly spread. Now, I've already gone ahead and I've done my monthly plan with me. So that video is going to be coming up for you guys. I just wanted to get everything kind of solidified first, so that when I do that video, you kind of have a better idea of what's going on. But I already switched over this calendar. Since we're going to be in June, I have this one in August. I already have my quote up that revolves around my monthly focus, which actually, I forgot to write in my monthly focus, but you know, it's fine. And then I'm trying not to show too much of this. All right, right here I have my work log. So this is for the month of May, and as I work these, I highlight them, and then I already have the month of June ready to go. And then this is for this month. These are all of my tasks that need to be completed. So I have, basically what I do is I pull from my monthly, quarterly, and annual to-do lists, and that's everything that goes on here. All of my weekly stuff is always the same, so it just stays in my weekly section. But in here, you know, as you can see, there's a lot of different stuff, and actually when I add in the quarterly to-do list, it's going to be probably on the back side of the page as well. Right here, this is just my monthly to-do list. It's just simple stuff like, you know, washing my bedding and cleaning the microwave, organizing one area, wiping down every single mirror in this house, which is actually a lot because my mom's obsessed. And then, you know, like downloading new music, that kind of thing. All right, so here we have my daily / weekly section. I don't really know what I want to label it as, so down here the label is still blank, but right here it's all, you know, pretty much the same. I have the calendar for the current month, which is June, and then right here is just a little reminder of when The Bachelorette is on, in case I forget. You guys have seen my key before, so I don't have to go through that. I made this bookmark from some cardstock that I got from Joann's a couple months ago, and I absolutely love it. I love how it works with the color of my planner, and it's just, oh, it makes me so happy. Okay, so yesterday was actually Sunday, so today is Monday, so I can actually take out these old inserts. And if you guys watched my plan with me for this week, then you would have already seen this one, and I'm not going to take you through that. All right, this is where I have my weekly to-do list. These do not change. I mean, if I absolutely have to change them, then I will, but for the most part, I will shuffle them around if I need to. And then I still have my Rebel Day episode tracker, and, you know, trying to get through 440 episodes of it, so maybe one day I'll get there. I also added in a Game of Thrones episode tracker, which includes the upcoming season, which is season 7. Yes, I know I'm horrible. Game of Thrones has been out forever, and I haven't even watched an entire episode. All right, this last section right here is kind of dedicated to, like, food and, you know, just, well, like my well-being and that kind of stuff. So some of it involves my weight, so I'm actually going to cover that up. But right here I have a food tracker, meal tracker, whatever, which I haven't really been keeping up with. I think what I need to start doing is I need to carry around a little notebook like I used to, and I'll just write in everything that I've eaten that day, because this has not been working out for me, and then I'll just transfer it onto here. So this is actually for this week, and I haven't filled it out yet, so. All right, what I'm covering up right here is actually my weight loss tracker. So what I'm actually going to do really quickly is I'm going to show you part of this so that you guys can have an idea, because I don't want to leave you in the lurch. So let me just grab something small here. All right, so I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see this because I am covering up the number right here, but basically I put my starting weight over here, and then I have my goal weight right there. In the center right here it says you can fucking do this. Again, well, I apologize if you're, you know, not into swearing, but for me personally, it kind of motivates me. And then I have all of these down here. So date, weight, loss or gain, total, shirt size, pant size. I thought it would just be interesting to kind of see, you know, where I'm at in terms of my weight and my shirt and pant sizes. I always found that really interesting because you could be, you know, like 200 pounds, but you could be, I don't know, a size 18 or something, depending on your body size. So I just always found that kind of fascinating. So I'm just kind of trying to track that to see where I end up. All right, and then behind that, I actually have a list of food that I want to make, and these are all recipes that I've found on Facebook. And I have a very, very bad habit of doing this. If I see any kind of a video where they're making, you know, a dish that I think would be really, really delicious, I will send it to myself in Facebook Messenger, so then that way I can refer back to it later. The only problem with doing that is that it took me 2 years to actually refer back to it and to go through the recipes. So that's why this list is incredibly long, and it goes from front to back on this page, and then it's on the front side of this one. So you can see my handwriting gets significantly sloppier as it goes because my hand was getting tired. But these are all recipes that I want to try, and I don't want to put them in my reference binder because if I do that, I'm going to forget about them. Same thing if I put them in my recipe binder. So I kind of just wanted to leave them in here so that if there's one day where I'm like, you know what, I don't want to eat anything that's in the house, I kind of want to be a little bit adventurous, then I can just come here and, you know, kind of look through it and see what I might want to try. Not only that, but this I think would be really great if you have a family, you know, if you're kind of stuck when it comes to your family dinners, you could just sit down with all your family members and everybody could kind of like pick out what they want for the week, or, you know, maybe you could do it once a week for an entire month. You know, you can do it any way that you want, but I thought this was a pretty good idea because I do get stuck quite a bit when it comes to what I want to eat, and I find that because I'm so tired a lot of the times I just tend to go for things that are super duper easy instead of, you know, being more adventurous like I should be. So that's just something for you guys to consider. Behind that, I have one of these top loading envelopes that came with the Filofax. And then the very last thing I have is actually this piece of laminated plastic. And all I did was I punched it, cut it down to size, and I stuck it in the back so that nothing gets caught up in the rings. All right, so that is everything new that I have for you guys. My favorite pens that I've been using are basically the same with the exception of the mild liner. This is just by Zebra, and I have the gray color. I'm still using the exact same pen, which is just the Pilot Dr. Grip Gel. I use the 0.5, and then I also really love to use the Bic marking markers, and then I also use a fine point Sharpie, as well as every planner person's tried and true favorite, the Staedtler Tri Plus fine liners. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and maybe it gave you some ideas, and I will talk to y'all in the next video. Bye guys.
We are good.